All right. So anyway, okay, we are doing this topic now. It's a Sec 1 topic, okay? But before I actually go into this slides, 10:30 for Karina. So early, I see. Okay, no problem. Now, I want to share with you something, which is the syllabus from MOE. Are you able to see my screen here? Yeah. So this is on learning outcome. So this learning outcome is for the secondary one topic on scientific endeavors. Okay, so what is the meaning of scientific endeavor? Okay, so syllabus document is actually a very important copy. How many of you know that you can obtain something like this from the internet? From the MOE website. Do you all know this or not? Do you know how important is this? Okay, maybe I can share with you. I'll open up the entire document first to show you how it looks like. Okay. Now, if you can have a copy of this, it will be wonderful. You can share this with your parents also. Okay, if you take a look here, can see my screen? Yeah, it says the science syllabuses, lower secondary, express, and normal acad course. Okay, so implementation, this is the new syllabus, 2021 cohort, they started using this. So MOE actually put this on their website. You can find this copy, which will be helpful for you in Sec 1 and Sec 2. Okay, so there is a certain content page that tells you what you can expect to find lah. Okay, of course, they start with introduction, then there's a framework for the science curriculum. Okay, then they talk about the 21st century competency and then scientific literacy. Okay, what is the value and aims of lower secondary science? After that, it's about the syllabus framework. Okay, then the pedagogy part. Okay, teaching and learning of science. All right, then purpose of assessment, etc. All these you can go and read on your own. Do you know what is very important? The most important part is actually learning outcome, which I showed you just now, learning outcome. So that is on page 29. So if I were to scroll down, okay, to let you take a look at what is inside these document, okay, then you can see how they plan out the whole thing, how they actually design the science curriculum for students in lower secondary school. Okay, so they want you to have certain values, ethics, attitudes, and it is over here, okay, over here, these are important for our chapter 1. All right, be curious, be creative, have integrity, be objective, be open-minded, resilient, responsible, okay, and then also be giving healthy skepticism lah. Okay, so you can make comments, but it has to be helpful and healthy comments, okay, instead of putting people down. Okay, so I'm not going to go through everything here because it's not necessary. Yeah. Okay, what I want you to know is, all right, content is here. If you take a good look now, next year, Sec 1. What are the topics that you will be doing? Have you all bought your Sec 1 textbook already? Anyone? No? Not yet, huh? Okay, it's okay. But you are actually learning. Okay, chapter 1 is scientific endeavors, which we are covering these 4 weeks. Then chapter 2, explore diversity of matter by physical properties. So physical properties of matter, it can be whether it's flexible, whether it is strong, whether it's transparent. You have learned this in primary school, isn't it? Right? So you're going to learn more about it, okay, in Sec 1. So it's a more in-depth content compared to primary school. Now, chapter 3 is on diversity of matter by chemical composition. Okay, so this is slightly more difficult than what you have learned in primary school also. After which, you are going to explore separation technique. So I give you a certain mixture. For example, Salman, I give you a salt solution. I say, Salman, can you give me back the salt? I don't want the salt to be in the water anymore. I want to get back the salt. So you must use a particular method to separate out the salt from the salt solution. Do you know that you can do that? You don't know, you can. Okay, so you will learn this under separation technique. All right, or I can say, this is salt water. I don't want salt water. I want pure water only to drink. Are you able to help me get the pure water from salt solution? Can or not? Possible, right? We learned this in primary school actually. If you recall. Even the sugar solution, right? I want to get back my sugar. It's possible. I want to get back water. It's also possible. Okay, if I look at this particular pen, okay, Salman, I have this pen here. Now, this pen is made out of blue ink, right? Okay, but the blue ink could be made up of many different kinds of dyes. Okay, so I tell you to separate out the ink. Salman, you separate out the ink. Tell me, okay, what are the various colored dyes that is used to make this ink? You will also learn this in this chapter. Interesting or not? Yeah. Okay. So separation technique, fun. All right. Quite a number of technique to for you to explore. You will be doing it inside the school science lab also. Many experiments. Now, chapter 5, ray model of light. Is this familiar to you? The chapter on light? Yeah. You're going to learn this. Then cells. Have you learned cells already? Cells and cell parts. Okay, so you see, you have completed PSLE. When you go on to Sec 1, there are many things that you will be learning again. But most of it, you will be learning something more in-depth, more difficult than primary school. So chapter 7 here, okay, particulate nature of matter. If you recall, solid, liquid, and gas. Remember, Miss Tay, when I was teaching you all solid, liquid, and gas, I used the particle arrangement to draw. Solid, how are the particles packed in a solid, in liquid, in gas? You are learning this once more. Okay, so I told you before, primary school, you all don't learn the particle arrangement, but I'm going to teach you anyway. So when you go on to Sec 1, you find that, okay, Miss Tay taught me before, I'm familiar. Then you have atoms and molecules. Atoms and molecules is very different. It is something you have not learned in primary school yet. Okay, you are only learning in secondary school. So these topics might be a little bit challenging. All right, chapter 8. And Sec 1, you only have to learn 8 chapters. The Sec 1 science textbook has only 8 chapters. First 4 chapters to be covered in semester 1. Okay, and then the next 4 should be in semester 2. But many of the schools will finish up to chapter 5 by mid-year. Okay, before your mid-year, before June, you should complete or maybe already more than halfway done for the chapter of light. Any question here? So what about chapter 9 to 16? When will you learn them? Any idea? Salman, what do you think? Karina, what do you think? Chapter 9 to 16? When will you learn them? Yeah, in Sec 2. Correct. Good or not? Only 8 chapters, you know. All right, in Sec 1 and then 8 chapters in Sec 2. Seems like quite easy to complete all this. And hold on now, let me go and get my textbook to show you. Just 1 minute. Okay, you watched the video last week, huh? Okay, good. So I just got my textbook out of my cupboard. Yeah, so this is actually the textbook that you will be using. Okay, all right. This is 1A. 1A only has got 4 chapters. And then you have 1B. How come cannot see clearly? Yeah, 1B also 4 chapters. All right. Very thin. If you look at the thickness, if I were to measure, let me try to measure using my ruler. Let's see. It is about 6 mm thick. 6 mm thick only. Okay, so inside the textbook, quite colorful. Cannot see. I think I have to go back a bit. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Can? All right, so if you can get your textbook soon, it will be good because most schools, I think all schools are using the same textbook. Yeah. All right. Tammy, you saw the video last week. Actually, it's very short, right? Correct. And I teach you other special techniques also, right? Yeah. So if you can practice that, that'll be good. Someone, your cousin gave you the books already. Good. So you should have read. Okay, chapter one is scientific endeavors. You also even read about the scientists, etc. Okay. So if I were to go on to the page 29, right? It says page 29 is where you have the learning outcomes. So learning outcomes, just now you saw me showing you the document just now about the scientific endeavors. What is it about? I actually obtained from here. Okay. So what you can do is you can Google secondary school or lower secondary science syllabus. You will get this document. You have to look for the one that is 2021. And when you are studying different chapters, okay, you will be able to know what you are expected to be aware of. So when you study, let's say chapter 1, the learning outcome, you must be able to show awareness of all this. Awareness that science is not confined to the lab, okay, but is actually in all aspects of our life. All right, healthy curiosity about the natural phenomena in the world. Okay, then show appreciation of science being a human endeavors. Okay, and then scientific knowledge, okay, is actually contributed by different civilization over the centuries. So all these are expected to know. All right. And then remember, I was telling you about how all of you must have these good attitudes. Okay. Creativity, objectivity, integrity, open-mindedness, perseverance. Correct. And then demonstrate safety. Okay. And then adopt safe practices when you are doing investigation. So these are all the expected. And chapter 1, all right, your teacher might take a long time to teach. Some schools totally skip this chapter. They ask students to read out on their own. Yes, I have seen. Okay, even in 88 tuition, I was teaching Sec 1 earlier part of this year. There's a student who told me that, can you give me notes and some practices? My teacher asked us to read on our own. Yeah, it's not fair, but it happens. It happens. Okay, so we do this here. I'll be giving you notes, okay, along the way. All right. So up to this page only. Yeah. The rest is okay. This one, B, diversity, is for chapter 2 onwards. Okay. So for the first chapter, there are actually a lot of things, a lot of learning outcomes that you need to know. Okay. So in between, for today, I'll be doing scientific method. Okay. And then we talk about the variables, fixed variable, etc. You still recall that for primary school? You learned that, right? Controlled variable, dependent variables, independent variables. This will be tested and it can even go up to like 3 marks for your exam. Okay, you can score 3 marks for your exam. Okay, so this is also what we will be covering. Okay, parallax error, zero errors. Okay, so your measuring instrument, we'll be learning about different instruments. We'll be learning about, how to measure volume of water, how to actually measure distance, length, etc. Right? And then we also talk about, scientific evidence, whether it is quantitative or qualitative. All right, so if you see this word quantitative, qualitative, what comes to mind? Someone, do you know? What's the meaning of quantitative or qualitative? Any idea? Quantity versus quality, very good. So if it's a quantitative evidence, that means there's some numbers involved. Okay? When it is qualitative, all right, it is more like a certain kind of description, explanation. There's no data behind to support. Okay, so quantitative versus qualitative, need to know. Okay, so I think quite a number of questions will come up for that also. But if you ask Miss Day, in the year 8 exam, right, Sec 1 year end exam, how many marks